I'm going to show you 3 things you can add to your songs to make a piano ballad sound ready for 2022. I'm going to show you 3 things today that I think really help make this song, It's Not Easy, by Christina Nicole, just that little bit different to a normal ballad. This is pre-mix. Carl Barner did an amazing job on the mix on this, so what you just heard is the finished product. It's out now on Spotify, but I'm going to be showing you the session that I did with the production. So as I said, this is a piano ballad, so we are working with this piano sound. It's actually a combination between this felt piano and my Nord. Really rich piano sound and loads of atmosphere, and of course I want to add to it, build up the production. So where do I start? First place I started was bass, because I wanted this to be the main movement, and movement to me in a ballad is really, really important, because that's how you're going to keep people there hooked through to the end, like adding different elements right through to the end to keep people interested in the song. When I was speaking with Christina, I really got a vibe that she wanted a lot of organic instruments, but she also wanted to be that future thinking, like a modern pop artist. So to start with, we added a double bass, which is a great double bass sound on Trillion, which is a great plugin. And to add that suspense and to add the movement, I ended up using another Trillion plugin, which was this bass just here. So first thing I did was turn it into an ARP, because on its own, without that, it's just long held notes. Not much movement, not that exciting. So turn it into an arpeggiator, that adds there. And also, it's not fighting with the double bass. Those sounds are like dark and different enough from each other that they are not getting in the way of each other as well. Now, granted, there are some plugins that are helping it from not getting in the way of each other, but that's not what this video is about. So what I wanted to speak about was the automation that's happening within Trillion. And this is something I think that it's very underrated by producers and artists creating demos, you guys mainly watching this. And the reason I think it's underrated is because when you open a plugin like a synthesizer, there's so many features within that are rarely used. So you go to the presets, find the sound that you want to start with. Everybody does that. But then there's all these extra knobs, like look at these cutoffs, resonance, key tracking, envelope depth. All these things are not really explored with. Some of my favorites are the glide feature between notes. That's quite an easy way to create something fun. But particularly the cutoff is the easiest way to completely change the mood and atmosphere and add your own movement into a synthesizer. It gives it that human element, as if somebody's there, moving these knobs on a keyboard. So if I hit play at this section, you should see the cutoff and envelope moving. Oh, I don't know what happened then, but let's just hear this one. Hopefully you can hear the envelopes moving up and down and what that's doing to the actual sound. You can also hear it later. So as you see, I have automated it so that those knobs move, and I actually did this by hand on my laptop, on my keyboard. And as they move, you can hear what that's doing to the sound. It adds a whole new element. So adding that arpeggiator and adding that filter has already added so much into this song. So that's a really cool part of the bass line that I wanted to mention. I can't remember what this one's doing. Is this just adding on the final chorus? I think it's just adding another layer. Yeah, another layer of just low ends, just really adding that sense of size to the end of the production. So that's number one. The second element we're going to look at is these pads. Now, I, at the same time, want to mention that we have strings in this song. This was the organic element, again, that I wanted to add. Strings feels good. It's kind of the go-to thing. But again, it can feel too go-to. So feel too go-to. You know what I mean by that, right? So as well as having strings, I wanted to add in another texture that allowed the movement to happen. You know I love movement. To allow the movement to happen, but also make you question, are those strings? Is it a synth? What is that? And add, I guess, elements that strings can't, that synthesis, that 2022 sound that we're looking for. So the strings on their own is probably what I should show you first. It's really hard to track the beat without the beat because I've made the strings really lazy. So that's the strings. Sound really beautiful. I'm really happy with them. Love how they sound. Very cinematic. But let's have a look into these pads. Let's just dive in, see what's happening. How are we mixing it up? Well, that same section sounds like this in the pads. See, I've added a bit of automation here so that it's all opening up towards the end of the song. When you get to here, they're much brighter, they're much bigger, loads of movement happening. So let's add that in with the strings. Let's go to that end bit. Why not? Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can hear the texture's different now. There's strings quite still obviously there, but there's something else in there. There's another element and it's starting to develop. It's starting to change. So now let's have a listen to this. Big synth. Can't ignore it. Huge reverb. I love this Valhalla reverb. We've also got this very ghostly kind of sound, and you'll hear this much earlier on in the verse as well. Just here. Really nice simple sound using the Astra plugin, which is a splice synth actually. I really like this synth. So let's listen to all those synths together and how that's kind of changed how those strings are perceived. Alrighty, so there it is, a little bit of movement. Add that in with the bass and the piano again, and you can really get a sense of how this whole space now moves. And in context of the whole song, I hope this is of interest to you. If you are sat there in your recording sessions, or you're writing a song and you're a vocalist even, and you just want to add a little bit of something extra to your song with your producer, or with me, if you want to produce a song with me, then we can have these conversations. I hope this helps you feel more creative with your decisions, because at the end of the day, getting the message across, getting the story across, also your brand identity as an artist is all so important. So that's why I'm making these videos, to throw some ideas into your pot. If you'd like to speak about production on some of your music, then by all means do get in touch. I'm doing a free 30-minute call with anybody that would like just to have a chat about music. In fact, that's how Christina and I met. Her song came up on my Spotify. I loved it. I got in touch with her and just said, your music is awesome. We got chatting about music and she needed the song produced, and here we are today. So if you want that to be you, let's have a conversation, and until next time, stay safe, look after each other, and remember, never stop creating.
Maybe I begin to feel it. Maybe I'd even believe it. Maybe I convince myself